So I was hoping for a bit better wind today for kite surfing, a bit smaller waves, a bit better wind direction, but this weekend just doesn't have any of that. Been offered by a good friend Alex Simmons to borrow his slingshot foil, which will be awesome, so I'm going to go and meet him at Marizine now and give it a shot. So the kite's pumped up, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit nervous now. Well, I'm back and I'm alive, and that was a really good session. I had a lot of fun. I think if I was going to advise people that are going down the same kind of wanting to give it a try, I would say I'd probably reiterate a lot of the advice I was given before I went out. I think taxiing, which is kind of like riding the board as if it's a normal surfboard, slowly, until you can find that kind of where that lift is, give it a little wiggle, that little pop just to come up slightly, and then control your speed by either sheeting out, or if you start going too fast while you're sheeted out, just dip the board back down and skim the water. You'll see in some of my footage I managed to do that, and it felt a lot more under control. Normally with things I go in full on and power through it, whereas this I felt like I actually really enjoyed going slowly, getting the lift, feeling it, dropping back down. And I think actually the key is really with everything, with the kite, the board, everything that you do, it's kind of little tweaks rather than a big whacking the kite round as you would do in any other kind of kite surfing. Just little tweaks, keep that kite flying in a rough sort of area. You feel like you want more power, but you actually really don't need it. The other thing I'd say, the hardest thing actually was keeping control of the board while I wasn't riding it, because it doesn't react in the water the same as a surfboard or a twin tip or anything like that. It because of the foil and everything, it sort of, if you've got it on its side, it'll lift towards you. And so maybe if you're gonna go out and have a good crack at it, I would say if I was going to do it again, I'd go out in the water for a couple of minutes and with just the foil, and just feel how you can push it around and maneuver it in the surf. We had about like 1 foot of swell, but it was a bit of a pain to get out through at first. Yeah, I had a really good time. I don't think there's much else I can say apart from, actually, I guess the feeling is a lot like riding a surfboard with a kite. The difference is that rather than riding the board here with your feet here, you're kind of, your board is down here and there's almost a pivot in the middle. So this is the foil, your board is here with your legs on top of it, and this is where your pivot is. So you've almost got to ride it the same, and it feels the same, apart from you've got that going on at the same time. Another crucial thing I found really important was back foot placement, and I'm talking about not just that way, which I didn't think made as much difference, but I did find having that back foot further forwards was a lot easier to keep everything under control, stop it from rising out the water too fast. But also if this being my back foot, this direction makes a big difference. I think if you do that on a surfboard and you're leaning too far over this way, you can dig that toe or that heel in and correct it, whereas on the foil there's so much force coming up that if you're like that, you can be on tiptoes and you still won't get that board straight. So front to back, get that alignment right, and you'll feel it. You'll feel the board trying to tip over, and I think that's why it's especially important to go really slowly with it. So when you start to feel it twisting as it comes up, you can drop it back down, get your foot in the right place, and then bring it back up again. So yeah, all in all, I think I'd do it again. I think the next thing to try is a sup foil, and then I can kind of try and decide if one of those avenues is something to go down. My only problem at the moment is the amount that it costs to buy one versus the amount I would use it is, I don't know. That's probably the only thing putting me off at the moment. Most of the time I can surf, I can sup, I can kite, I can dive, spearfish, whatever. There's always something going on at the moment, and has been for a while. So where foiling would fit in for me, I don't know. But definitely, if you're wanting to get into kite foiling and you've not flown a kite before, absolutely, of course, always get lessons with anything to do with kites. But you need to nail the standard boards first, the twin tips and the surfboards, before going into foiling. It takes such precise movements with the kite. A lot of people, when they're new, they don't have as much control, and you've got kites flying all over the wind window and all sorts. If you do that on a foil, you don't stand a chance. The other thing you'll notice, I had the front foot strap on. That was some great advice by some of the guys that I borrowed the kit off, and that I know are very good at foiling. And yeah, it really helped. I think I would probably tighten that strap down a little bit more, but it's quite hard to get into, so you almost need it loose to get into and then tight to ride along. But yeah, anyone that's watching this for their sort of before you're going in for your first foiling session, I hope there's a bit of insight there, and I hope it gives you a bit of confidence as well to think, actually, in one session you can get up and foiling. It might only be 20-30 meters, as I did, but it's not as scary as what I thought it was going to be. I felt really comfortable out on the water, and I could have gone for another couple of hours. The only reason why I came in is because the wind just dropped quite a lot. There's a lot of people on 12-meter kites and twin tips and surfboards that were struggling then. But yeah, 9-meter kite, I was absolutely fine. I would use a 9-meter kite at the beginning on a surfboard. There's a couple of guys, Rory, he was on a 5-meter slingshot UFO, which just looked, he made it look as if there was about 20 knots more wind than there actually was. So I think that's something to progress to if you're going to foil, is getting down through the small kite sizes, and you can get your turns in a lot quicker and stuff like that. And he just made it look magic. But yeah, it was good fun. It was a good session for me to get back to basics, really. And almost, I said to Luke in the car park, it's almost like the first 6 months of your kiting career happened again in the first half an hour of learning to foil. It's really strange going back and sort of being that person floundering around trying to get a board hooked to their feet while they're trying to fly a kite at the same time. And of course, the foil, as I said, doesn't react like a surfboard, and we all remember the days when we first started trying to get a twin tip and under our feet and getting both feet into the foot straps and whatever. It's exactly the same thing. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Take care, take it easy, have fun, stay safe if you're going to try foiling.